Welcome to Double D-Fense. I'm Liz.
And I'm Christine.
We're bringing you an all-female perspective on the NHL,
plus the PWHL, college hockey, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Christine.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
We're back and we're recovered from the trip, kind of, sort of.
Yep, Double D-Fense is back from San Jose, back from Anaheim, back from LA. We did go 0 for 3 in Rangers games, unfortunately. And post the trip, there has been a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, look. Okay, first, let's just take a step back. We have to address the elephant in the room. There's been tension, right? There's
a lot of tension.
Chemistry, that, and there's a connection that we've had that nobody wants to admit is changing, and it's changing everything. And honestly, both of us have been, just emotionally unwell about this,
Yeah, with what's gone on, I actually cried. I'm not even kidding. I cried multiple times.
You saw me cry. I know. So, yeah, and I think unwell is putting it lightly too. I think, look, my emotions have gone, from here to here, from shock and awe, to just grief, and trying to understand things, right? Putting it all together.
So I am analyzing every little detail, like the looks that they're giving each other, like everything that's happening, whether it's on the ice or off the ice. Every single moment feels like it has so much more meaning now. And I don't know. I just don't, I feel so unsettled about it.
So, and also like hearing what other people are saying about it too is, I don't know, like I've been replaying everything in my mind, like almost every day. Right. So,
for me, it's every single night. It's every single night.
I keep texting you.
Before I go to sleep, I just keep thinking.
I know. Liz can't go to sleep because I keep texting her, and I'm like, oh no, over like the last week or so. So, yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm sure everybody else is feeling it too. And by that, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think we need to talk about the situation that has completely taken over our lives, and that is heated rivalry.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Now listen, Ranger fans are going to deal with Panarin because we felt all the same emotions, right? We're going to go through that. So, but really, the bigger elephant, the more fun elephant has been heated rivalry, and me finally catching up and watching it. And I regret, now what I'm seeing now my entire feed is full of heated rivalry. Yeah, because it's nonstop. It's like, oh, I know you watched it. Here you go. So
I just have to jump in. So I had watched the whole series, I think maybe a few weeks before you had the chance to. And I think for weeks I'm like, Christine, you have to watch heated rivalry. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. And then I got to enjoy so much watching you experience it for the first time. And it was such a gift. And I still stand by, heated rivalry is the gift that we've been given in 2026, especially as hockey fans. So let me ask you, Christine, what did you think about the show? Give me your top line reviews, impressions. Let's hear it.
Well, you saw from my face and my reactions, I loved every second of it. And I think we were talking about this too. So it's funny. I will say, how it was written, I feel like the writer Googled a lot of things, right? So some of it being hockey fans seemed predictable, in the steps. And you saw me because I was like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And it did. But it didn't take away from anything. So it was good. Some of the some of the scenes were done so perfectly well in my mind that I can't get them out of it. Like when and the first time when they're at the club that, he sees Shane with the girl, and that still motion, videography back and forth was dramatic and it was so perfect. And of course, sorry if we're blowing,
Yeah, I just want to preface this. Spoiler alert.
I know I was the last to see it, but my favorite part was when Ilya was in Russia and he's just telling him everything in Russian and just spilling his whole heart out in Russian. And you saw me, I literally was bawling through that whole scene. I saw people crying during the end of episode 5, which I adored as well. But I cheered on that thing. I thought it was emotionally, but in a good way, and I see people's reactions now that I'm seeing everybody watching it and filming themselves, which we'll do for season 2 for sure. Yeah. And do that. But I was so happy about that, because I am definitely, for everybody. And I love the scene. I also loved watching a lot of clips of guys watching it straight and and not straight guys, and how enthusiastic and emotional they were. So it's been fun to kind of watch other people's reactions since then too. So that was really it was good. I'm so excited. I can't wait till season 2 comes along and what comes out of that next.
And did you hear that we might be getting a bonus episode of Heated Rivalry for this season? There might be a sneaky new episode that's coming. That is the latest rumor that I've been seeing online.
Oof. Okay. I mean, look, it's definitely the feel good thing to watch. This season, I think it's a topic, and what I'm also liking too is a topic that people are embracing. We do know that Bettman binged this, right? Because he said it. He openly said, "I loved it so much, I had to watch it right away and all night, and I couldn't stop." So think about that. So it was good, and honestly, too.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I think this is overall a great thing for the NHL, because I understand that the show is not the NHL. They effectively change NHL to MLH, Major League Hockey. There is something that sort of resembles a Stanley Cup that it's very hexagonal. So that's even a word. But I think this is so good for the NHL because of how positively everybody in the show responds to everything that happens. In reality, we don't know. And I'm guessing, based on some of the stories that have come out of the NHL over the last couple of years, that may or may not be super realistic, but this version in this universe was very positive. So I think for the NHL, this is actually a great thing because it shows them in the best possible light, in my opinion.
Yeah, you kept saying the whole time, everyone's so supportive. Everyone's so supportive. Everyone's so supportive. And they were, By the way, half the episodes Liz had to translate from because we couldn't figure out the subtitle thing. But she got to figure it out right at the most important part. So that was fun too. I had a great experience. So super fun. And I agree. And here's the thing too. In past reports of the NHL as a collective unit, with some controversy over Pride nights and things like that, it really has come about that the NHL players, generally 98, 99% of them are all for like these kind of things. There are a few people, that have different opinions of things, and they kind of, they might speak out. But generally speaking, this is a supportive group of individuals that mostly kind of remain private, in their thoughts and opinions on things. A lot of them, like I was just kind of looking at something else, but there's a realization that 75% of NHL players are from foreign countries, and 25% are American born, so which is a lot, because I'm going to do a whole nother thing on this going back, because, it wasn't that many years ago where there really wasn't any, there weren't any US born players, so that's even growing. But still, look at the amount of people that come from different countries. So they have different values, different cultures, and, now it's all blending. So it kind of ties into something like this. And I liked how, that it focused on Canada and Russia, so it also kind of focused on, these two different countries playing, with the NHL. And I liked those little things too within in watching it. So
let me ask you. Let me ask you, what do you think that the show got right about hockey, and what do you think that it got wrong about hockey?
Oh, interesting question. Right. I think it showed the kind of the rivalry nature, like, that we want to see. Like, I feel like that's right. I feel like, that rivalry that they want us to see, we know it's not really true. So, and I feel behind the scenes, it's more, it's more of a, just a bunch of guys, don't forget they're young. We were talking about this on a different level, while the team was in town here. And so they're really just a bunch of kids going out there and having fun, so I figured that. What did they get wrong? Well, that's Stanley Cup. I don't know, but
Stanley Cup looked like something. It reminded me of like a bunch of name tags that they had printed up that they glued around different shapes. That's what it looked like to me.
When you said it, I saw it. I can't unsee it now. It's a focal point, So
I also really appreciated the way it felt realistic to me because of the way they jumped around in time. Like when I started watching it, I think I thought it would cover one season, but it's much more than one season. This spans 5 years, 7 years, something along those lines. So it feels very natural how all of the relationships kind of grew over the course of many months to many years.
Yeah, you had to kind of follow it pretty quickly because it was a little confusing at first. Once you got the hang of it, then you kind of knew where things were going. Because I'm like, at this rate, they're going to be like 50 and they'll be done with the NHL if we keep doing this fast. I'm like, how many seasons is this going to go? I want it to go a longer time, so they need to slow that timeline down. So that was pretty good. I did like the way that they did that.
And another heated debate that I have to ask you. This is the debate that I've been seeing on Reddit. I have my opinions, but I want to see where you stand on it. Who fell first? Was it Shane or Ilya? Which one of them fell? Because now there are people who are rewatching it, and like we talked about at the top of this episode, like we are doing, analyzing every little look and every little glance at each other. Who was the one who actually fell in love first?
So I'd have to watch it again because I know most people, like yourself, watched it multiple times. And I've only had a chance to watch it once. So, and that's where you're going to get all the details. I am seeing things like the minute he put the phone number in, so it kind of, like, that's what's in my mind now. I can't, it could be from that beginning scene, when he introduced himself. I think that's right. Who was it?
And then Ilya was the one who said, "I love you" first, which really shocked Shane. So that was a surprise to me. I think it was Shane, but I think we kind of almost saw a little bit more of his story, like slightly. Obviously it was very divided between their two perspectives, but I felt like we were like 51% in Shane's head, maybe 49% in Ilya's head. And maybe that's also because you and I did have to watch the first 5 episodes without the Russian subtitles because I couldn't figure out the setting on my TV. So maybe that's part of the reason that I felt like I was missing.
I don't know Russian.
But we worked it out. We did. We can tell what they're
drinking.
So. Yeah. But as hockey fans,
now I'm loving, and I'm glad. Wait, say that again.
I was going to say, as hockey fans, like, again, what a gift this has been to enjoy this show, talk about it with friends. All of a sudden, hockey is like a major part of the zeitgeist that people are talking about, even people who are not big hockey fans. How many people have reached out to you now to talk about it, or it's come up in conversation, or we saw people at the games over the course of the last week wearing like Hollander jerseys or shirts that had something to do with the show. Every arena played at least one song from the show.
Oh, and I'm seeing that. And thank you for the algorithms for waiting till I saw this before I'm seeing all these things. Because I'm loving like, the scene where he's eating with the parents. And it's like, someone said, realizing that this is probably the first time Ilya has had a home cooked meal since he was 12. I mean, those things bring extra emotion. So, and these are just, again, observations that people are kind of, I saw something today that said Shane was autistic, and you can maybe tell slightly by the way he speaks. And so there was an aspect of that as well. So there's so much more to come. I have to watch it a couple more times to kind of catch up. And, we have a break coming up with the Olympics. So I think we're going to kind of start incorporating a little more fun with this Heated Rivalry, maybe a couple of themed drinks, along the way to make it fun. So we'll be entertaining everybody and ourselves. We come first, throughout this Olympic break, since probably most of the games are going to be at 2 a.m. for us. So who knows?
And also, this goes without saying, we do cover a lot of the New York Rangers on this podcast. What else are we going to talk about? Because
everybody else, there's a lot going on. So.
There's a lot going on, but it's certainly not like we're talking about the Rangers winning season, because we are certainly not. And as we did imply, again, at the top of the episode, there are some big changes happening that we are watching closely. We're not just watching Heated Rivalry, just mostly watching Heated Rivalry right now.
The jaw-dropping moments that make hockey, hockey. If you're not watching the NHL games right now, you are missing a lot of NHL player milestones that are occurring almost on a daily basis. Game milestones, point milestones. It's the best time of the year to be watching these games and experience all of these moments with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. And new Missouri listeners, listen up. DraftKings Sportsbook is now live in the Show Me State. Congratulations. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus agent eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Ford and Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
It's the days of no Panarin hockey, so anything is going to happen right now. We are dealing with the shock of that. Look, Liz went through the Kreider trade and cried and had to adjust and figure out when to wear her jersey, and now has a Duck shirt. I'm waiting to see which shirt I'm going to be buying now because my jersey will now be history. So and as I kind of said, this is these two letters that have gone out have broken my heart twice. In 2018 when everything went out, we saw Hank getting traded, and I cried. I literally cried. It was a Friday. I cried. I haven't cried about Panarin because now I know I can find him somewhere, anywhere. So I'm glad, and I'm absolutely glad that we have the chance to see him play. I think that was the last time he scored a goal was against the Ducks. I'm thankful for that. we had a couple moments that will live in my brain forever. I'm gonna never forget that. A little eye contact a couple nights in a row. And so that lives in my brain forever. And then we're gonna have to adjust. We're still in a waiting period, as everybody knows. And if you haven't, you'll know now that they pulled him right before the first Islander game the other day, shocking pretty much everybody on the team. We saw comments from from Trocheck, from Mika, from other players. If you they were emotional about things and they had to play through. And of course, we got owned by the Islanders. So, not to take away from Matthew Schaefer's, expertise and youthful knowledge and energetic skill and his smash talking mouth. And it doesn't help that we're emotional already. So when we see something like that, we can't process it the way, like if he was talking about another team, we would have been like, yeah, you go for it, but he also scored on us, breaking an NHL record for scoring or tying it, within the NHL for the most goals for a child, an 18-year-old child. So good for him. He was a great draft pick and they are capitalizing on that. And let's see where it gets them in the long run, So we have that. There also is speculation. We're not going to delve on it too much because speculation is speculation about where he might be going. There's been a couple posts about what teams are kind of looking at him.
And I do have the list of teams right here. I'm just going to quickly read through them. These are as of right now, and we are recording this on Friday, January 30th at 2:10 p.m. So, and that's Pacific time. So 5:10 p.m. Eastern time. I'm saying that because all of this is subject to change.
Something's happening right now, I bet.
I have been on Twitter or X. I've been on it nonstop, and I am really just like refreshing because at some point the news is going to come. So here are the teams, again, subject to change. The Sharks, the Kings, the Red Wings, the Ducks, the Stars, the Panthers, the Hurricanes, the Wild, and then your favorite team, Christine, the Washington Capitals. For anyone who's listened to this podcast before, Shirley, I know you're listening. Christine's least favorite team is the Capitals, and she is not super enthusiastic about Panarin potentially becoming a Cap. But there's teams that are more in the running. There's teams less in the running because Panarin, there would need to be an extension signed afterward instead of getting him for the rest of the season. So there's still a lot of moving parts. But it's almost like this list is getting longer every time I see it. There's more teams that are potentially vying for him than less. So only time will tell. I still am holding out hope that he will become a Duck and wind up on the West Coast here with our best B team ever. But we'll see. What are you thinking, Christine? Where do you think he's going to wind up?
West. I'm just going to go with West because it could be anyone. I'd be okay with Seattle, Sharks, Ducks, Kings. Kings were, it's funny. Matthew was saying something like, he would go with the Kings and then he wouldn't want to play with them anymore, because I saw somewhere that like Kings are the least likely team that anyone wants to go to for stuff. So
why? What's going on with the Kings that reputation exists?
They're the equivalent of us, just West Coast. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like Kings are out of a playoff position right now. Right? I would think right now, and the bigger question is, do you think he's going to get traded before the Olympics starts, or before March? I mean, he's got time. He's got all the time in the world. So I think if he's smart, he'll negotiate through this trade freeze and know exactly what he's going to get. Again, he's 34 years old. He wants to be playing until, I think, I'm hearing 40, but so he's looking for a 4 to 6 year contract. And, if that's the case, then he's wanting to go to one, he wants to retire from whatever team frame. So it should be, I would hope it's going to, it's going to be someone he thinks is a contender for the Stanley Cup. And if he's traded this year, then he has a chance. So kind of look at those teams, look at the teams that are going to, what you're thinking is really going to not only kind of get there this year or get really close, but be a contender over the next few years. And so,
I also wonder, how much of it is a lifestyle choice too. Are there certain cities that, nobody wants to go live in because they have to live there? I mean, no offense to any of those cities, but I'm sure they're all very cold.
Meanwhile, it's 80 degrees here today, not to brag because it's going to change, but this is most desirable. And the Ducks in Orange County is where it's most desirable.
Yeah, and you can't discount that, especially if he's somebody has a long-term contract. And right now the ball is in Panarin's court because he has the no move clause. He can waive it. So really, he has a lot of say right now in where he's going to go. So it'll be very interesting to see. Please, if you don't already follow us on Instagram, Christine breaks all the news. I find out stuff from our own Instagram because she's posted it right away. So definitely follow us because the second that news breaks, we'll be talking about it.
I have to keep up with East Coast stuff. The other thing too, and think about, I think any team that wants him for, I think they're talking 50 million, right? So even though he's getting older, I think he's going to be worth the money in the next 2 years with what he does. And it'll still pay off. I don't see him as being 34 and the way he plays, but also I think about, I don't think about it as an even timeline or payment, over the next, 4 years, let's say. I think he could be worth 80% of his money in the next 2 years and still stay. So, so again, there's nothing we can do about it. We're on watch. No Capitals is what I'm voting for. And then we're going to see, and then we're going to have to adjust. And there's more trades to come, as we all know too. We don't know when and of course we love the fact that when we trade people, they like to score on us and we let them. So the whole thing was, you can't make this up. And my thing is, who's surprised about this? It happens every time.
So if you missed the Ranger Islander game yesterday, the first goal for the Islanders that was scored, I think well into the second period, the first goal of the game was scored by Susie, who up until 3 days ago was a Ranger, got traded. I don't even think he had that many goals for the Rangers. And the very first game he plays against the Rangers, of course he scores. Of course.
Well, he didn't score the second. He played the first game. It was back-to-back games. So the other new trade scored, and then and then he scored. So that's like being a lucky roller at craps. It's just, it's going to happen.
You're right. There are many other rumors flying around. I heard Trocheck is definitely up on the potential trading block. I don't think anybody, to be honest, is fully safe at this point. I think anything can happen. And, I know that Drury said we're only doing a retool and not a rebuild, but what does that even mean?
I'm seeing the similar thing again that we did in 2018. 2018 was a follow-up on the fact that Vegas kind of came into the picture and all the way went to the Stanley Cup with their random youthful team. And the Rangers were one of the first teams, if not the first team, to say, oh, look, we're going to go younger. We're going to get this younger. We're going to be that youthful team. And we became, if you recall, the youngest average team. And unfortunately, and this is where I know a lot of other guys are talking about, and this is where I stand too, because now Lafreniere is getting just toasted on social media about his failure to improve and be significant to anything. But it's also development. We're not seeing true development of these players. And you can see by some of like how they're traded. I don't know if we talked about this last time I was reading it, but Kakko, he spoke up and was traded the next day, but he's shining now and he's doing well. And we saw that in Kreider's face, when he went to the Ducks. So now they're, and we don't know their arrangements there, but it looks like they have a little bit more ice time. They're having a little bit more freedom to do the things they want. They're developing well. So why are we not able to develop this talent the way that other teams are developing developing, and we're seeing the same thing now. And this is what I think triggered everything is we're seeing, a Macklin Celebrini and, and Connor Bedard and Matthew Schaefer, who are just shining. And they're the top of the staff, the curve, and Dolan are behind it, and that's where they fail. And we're never going to be able to catch up and get to where they are when you're handling. And it's also the way they handle stuff. When you take your best player out right before and you shock everybody, what are you expecting from that team? You can't expect much. Go out and do your best. And these guys have to try to play their best, because if they're on the trading block, they want to be valuable, to whoever is going to want to, to trade them, because, it's their livelihood too. That's the business side of things. And I've kind of talked about that through our podcasting side. It happens. There's a business side of things. I think the way we handle it is shitty. So, and that costs us, and we're never going to really overcome that if we don't change it.
Yeah. And that, I think, comes from the top down, but the top
remember the days for blaming like the coach? I don't know. It's all up there. That's exactly what I said the whole time.
Higher than the coach. I think
it's a guys club now. It's a buddy club. And right now, I think the players are all, paying the price of that. And that's unfortunate, but they're handling it as best as they can, and they're getting through. And I think they've, look, I saw Panarin right after he had that. He seemed okay with it. It's like, it's life. You're going to have to move on, and he's going to have to, adjust. And hopefully he comes out here. That's all I can say, but he looked like he was handling it well. And I'm sure, he's laying low and just constantly on the phone with his agent and trying to discuss what's going to be best for him in the future, which will take him through retirement. So that's where I'm all like for that, so I'm adjusting too. I think I've gone through 5 of my grief stages. And then when it happens, I'll do it again. So that's fine. More to come, obviously more to come on that. And as well as other pending trades, hopefully we're quiet until next week. It's only a couple days away where this trade freeze happens. Olympics are going to start. We'll enjoy that. And then we're going to come back to reality, smashing us in the face hard. Just a few notes to close up this episode, because we spent a lot of time on Heated Rivalry, which is okay. And to follow up, but a couple of things. I'm not going to let anything go. Acknowledge one. We had a record number of hat tricks in January, 30 to break an NHL record. So next time, I think we'll talk more about that, and we're going to see what kind of comes after the Olympics too, with these uprising kind of stats and record-breaking, things that are occurring. We're posting them on a daily basis. People are hitting their point milestones and breaking them. And on that note too, props to Patrick Kane for becoming the leading all-time scorer for U.S.-born players. There's a wonderful message from Mike Modano to him, acknowledging him of that. So props to you. We like seeing those milestones. We're going to acknowledge them, even if it's the Capitals. And then the other thing is, again, if you're not watching it this weekend, but maybe it'll be fun to see how things are going, because this is a true outdoor game in Florida. We have the Stadium Series between the Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that theme is a pirate theme. So, right? So we'll be back to evaluate all those weirdness, in that game too, and see if and compare it to the Winter Classic. Can't wait.
There's a lot to cover, even if the Rangers are not playing so hot. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will be keeping you posted on all things NHL, all things hockey. Bye, everybody.
Woohoo!